Christian Horner left Red Bull Racing Team, and everyone was really shocked. But what he wants to do next is even more surprising to the racing world. The British guy wants to become a team boss, but even cooler than that, he might want to own his own team. What will Horner do next, and how big of a part is the Alpine team playing here? There's no doubt that Christian Horner is one of the best team bosses in racing, but the fighting inside Red Bull made his time there really hard, and now he doesn't have a job for the first time in 20 years, but time keeps moving and doesn't wait for anyone. So Christian needs to think about what he'll do next, very soon. And a really surprising choice has come up with Alpine. The team based in Enstone is a team that really needs strong leadership that could bring them back to the middle of the pack for starters, and then maybe fight for championships. When the right time comes, of course. This seems like a crazy idea, right now, but since Horner is available, it might actually not be such a wild dream. Apart from the outside fights and WhatsApp pictures that put him in this mess, Christian is one of the most skilled team bosses in racing. He led Red Bull to 6 team championships and 8 driver championships over 20 years. He successfully managed drivers like Vettel, Verstappen, and Ricciardo, and was always on top of things when it came to controversial cases around his drivers. That's exactly the type of person that any team needs if they're looking to rebuild, and of course Alpine is one of them. The French team made some inside changes and has brought in Flavio Briatore to be executive advisor as well as the team boss. Yep, on paper, that job belongs to Steve Nielsen, but the decision-making belongs only to Briatore, and we know his way of thinking. He is always going to go for the best people available, whether that's engineers, team bosses, or drivers. Right now, Christian Horner leads that list, and it will be very interesting to see how he'll be able to deal with the messy situation in Alpine as it is right now. A very interesting fact that can be compared between Red Bull and Alpine is the second driver. Both of these teams have problems with getting points from both of their drivers all the time. Alpine are already on their second driver this year, just like Red Bull. And if Horner is chosen as the team boss, he would have to make sure that both of the cars would be up there and scoring points. Of course, he won't be able to do that until January 1st, 2026, as he'll serve a gardening leave until the end of this season. This also means that Horner won't be directly involved in Alpine's development in 2026 if he's chosen to be their team boss, no matter when he signs his contract with the Enstone-based team. But there are a couple of problems that need to be thought about here when it comes to Horner coming to Alpine. For starters, let's not forget why Red Bull is in the position they're in right now. The former team boss and CEO of the Austrian team has been accused of bad behavior towards a female coworker. Yep, he's been proven to be innocent. But at the end of the day, it has left a dark mark on his career that could be the main reason why Alpine might want to stay away from yet another controversial person in their team. Because of this inside drama at Red Bull, people like Newey, Wheatley, and Cardone all left and made an immediate impact on the teams they've joined. Just look at Wheatley and Saubert from being a joke on the grid to 6th place in the team championship in just a couple of races. The Swiss team is living its best life before the transition to Audi comes in 2026. Another thing that could prove to be a problem for Horner coming to Alpine would be Pierre Gasly. The Frenchman won't be very happy to hear that his former team boss, one that gave him only 13 races in Red Bull, will be joining his team and will lead them to the unknown. Gasly's departure from AlphaTauri came because time after time he's proven that he has what it takes to be given a second chance in the Austrian team. But Horner and the team decided to move on from him. So now that he's the leading driver in Alpine, will Briatore actually have a talk with Gasly about whether or not he wants to have Horner as his team boss? If he does, I think we already know the answer to that question. But if he doesn't, it's one more recipe for disaster with Horner joining. What's also interesting to talk about are the goals of Horner. He might be looking to become something more than a team boss. Being in the sport for 20 years and seeing so many ups and downs, you do tend to want to become a team owner. Of course, you won't buy an entire team, but a good piece of ownership in a certain team could keep you in the sport for a long time. And of course, you'd then be the decision maker. This is something that Horner might have wanted to achieve with Red Bull, but because of the tie-backed side losing its majority, it never actually happened. With Alpine, however, the situation is a bit different now, and according to Martin Brundle, this is the goal of Christian. As the F1 commentator said, I think that Christian will be desperate to have a piece of ownership in a team going forward, some ownership rather than being a hired worker. Obviously he won't be able to do that at Ferrari, as entertaining as that job might be. But if Alpine is not the team for Horner, then what are the other options that the British guy should also consider in his career? Well, let's not forget that Ferrari was interested in him not that long ago when rumors came out that Binotto's position was not safe. But with all of the latest controversies around Horner, it seems like Vigna and Elkin are not ready to commit to the British guy in any way, shape, or form. Furthermore, reports close to Ferrari say that the shareholders are now having conversations with Vassar about extending his contract in Ferrari, even though the results in the Maranello-based team are far away from being good enough. There is one more team that could be very smart to make a move for Horner, although there could be a problem of a similar kind compared to Alpine. Aston Martin are hiring literally every high-profile engineer or team boss that's available. And that's how they've managed to put together a team consisting of Newey, Cardile, and Crack as well as Honda as their engine maker. If you think about it, Horner was an important part of Red Bull's success with Newey and Honda, but at the end of the day, the British mastermind left because he wasn't happy with the inside power struggle that happened in the Austrian team. So, if you are to bring Horner, what do you do about Newey being satisfied? Let's not forget that Adrian is a technical partner of the team and is not just an ordinary employee there. He has a say about who goes where and whether the team should make a move for a certain available person. Of course, it's not 100% up to Newey, and if Lawrence wants to make it happen, he can. But what's the point of having an unhappy Newey just to prove a point that you're the boss in the team for the sake of the performance? According to Karun Chandhok from Sky F1, Ferrari missed the chance of having both Horner and Newey in their own team. And now that this is a far-fetched scenario, the best thing for Christian would be a move to Alpine. Furthermore, Chandhok said these rumors about Ferrari kept popping up over the last decade. I do think a combination of Christian and Adrian at Ferrari was a much more attractive package for Ferrari. I could see Horner landing at Alpine more than I could see him landing at Ferrari right now. I think Ferrari are going to try and build their own thing, and there are a lot of other factors coming in at this stage of Christian's career and life. Does he want to uproot everything? Be that as it may, the situation for Horner is not looking very good because of all the drama that started last year, but Jos Verstappen warned us back then. If Horner stays at the top of Red Bull, the team will fall apart. Basically, Horner left and it seems like Red Bull is headed towards a rebuilding direction. So, with all this in mind, do you think that Horner would be smart to choose a role in Alpine? Whether that would be as a part owner or a team boss, and if not, which team do you think should be his next home? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, have a look at the video that's appearing on your screen right now. Christian Horner left Red Bull Racing Team, and everyone was really shocked. But what he wants to do next is even more surprising to the racing world. The British guy wants to become a team boss, but even cooler than that, he might want to own his own team. What will Horner do next, and how big of a part is the Alpine team playing here? There's no doubt that Christian Horner is one of the best team bosses in racing, but the fighting inside Red Bull made his time. They're really hard, and now he doesn't have a job for the first time in 20 years. But time keeps moving and doesn't wait for anyone, so Christian needs to think about what he'll do next very soon. And a really surprising choice has come up with Alpine. The team based in Enstone is a team that really needs strong leadership, that could bring them back to the middle of the pack for starters, and then maybe fight for championships when the right time comes. Of course, this seems like a crazy idea right now, but since Horner is available, it might actually not be such a wild dream. Apart from the outside fights and WhatsApp pictures that put him in this mess, Christian is one of the most skilled team bosses in racing. He led Red Bull to 6 team championships and 8 driver championships over 20 years. He successfully managed drivers like Vettel, Verstappen, and Ricciardo, and was always on top of things when it came to controversial cases around his drivers.